Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. A house fire is suspicious, and banner rules may change for the Pollyant Trail Bridge, and help is needed at the Oxford Village Council.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A mobile home fire resulted in firefighters in Oakland County Sheriff's deputies taking a closer look into the incident. Police found suspicious items in the home that may have contributed to the fire. A witness saw a 22-year-old leave the home after the fire began. The man did return later with reported burns and injuries. He was taken to the hospital and treated, and the home may be a total loss. At the time, the fire is being treated as accidental and remains under investigation.
The Oxford Village Council is considering banning LED digital signs within the village. If council members have their way, they are also considering eliminating advertisement banners hung from the Pollyant Trail Bridge. Although the deadline for the proposed design ordinance was December 31st, 2015, council approved continuing the ordinance design review by February 9th meeting until resolved. If you have input, pro or con, on LED signs or any other ordinance issues, attend the next Village Council meeting on April 12th, which is a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. at 22 West Burdick.
An Oxford Village Council voted to accept the resignation of Brian Cloutier, who has recently relocated his home in Lapeer Township. This has created a vacancy on the Village Council. The village is looking for an individual to be appointed to fill the empty position until the vacancy can be filled at the November election. Also, Tom Keenis and Stefan Nahas recently resigned from the 7-member appointed Village Planning Commission, leaving 2 seats to be filled there. To be eligible, you must be a village resident for at least 6 months, 21 years of age or older, and cannot be in default to the village, meaning you cannot owe money to the municipality. If you're interested, contact the village office at 248-628-2543.
For safety's sake, the Oxford Sheriff Department would like residents to know that they will accept old, unused guns or broken guns to reduce the risk of them getting into the wrong hands. For instructions on how to transport and relinquish unused guns or ammunition, contact your local Oakland County Sheriff's substation.
Oakland County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a complaint of sexual assault of a minor allegedly committed by an Oxford man who was recently released from prison. The subject is a Dunlop Road resident. The strongest evidence obtained by the police is self-incriminating emails. The investigation continues.
Well, it had to be a lady, didn't it? A female driver drove her vehicle into a ditch on West Drainer Road last week, and when officers tested her for sobriety, they found that she was over the legal limit to drive. After being processed and released from the hospital, the woman was arrested.
Another accident occurred at M24 in Drainer. However, this time everyone has survived the accident. A driver was attempting to make a left-hand turn off West Drainer, was hit by a vehicle traveling northbound on M24. Although both vehicles sustained damage, no occupants from either vehicle were seriously injured.
Last week, the Oxford Township Parks and Recs held their annual Easter Bunny Bonanza at Seymour Lake Road Park. More than 300 kids stormed onto the fields, grabbing thousands of colorful plastic eggs, and in an 8-year Easter tradition, a helicopter rained ping pong balls from the sky. To cap off the day, every child was given a bucket filled with Easter goodies. Thanks again, Oxford Parks and Recs, for the hard work that you do. That's a fun thing. I'm telling you, I've been there a couple times, and it's really fun to see that.
That's not only a cute story, but I think the children, they're so cute and
Oh,
cuddly,
they're
aren't they?
darling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say, people should watch our community access, because we have clips from that event.
Great.
We had some people out there, Ashley Point, our intern, and Dan, and he got some great video. It's really a fun event.
Yeah, don't you miss the community access program.
No, that's right. I always get a plug in there for that.
Yeah. Now, there's some new businesses, I think, coming into this area, and others that are moving into other areas. Would you like to tell us
Well,
more?
speaking of that, and I wish I could remember each business, but I know the Legacy Center has 2 of them coming up, ribbon cuttings in the next week or 2. So keep an eye, or maybe wander through that Legacy Center. I know that there's a new yoga studio going in there. There's a karate studio in there. We've done ribbon cuttings on both now. That's another thing that will be on our community access. But boy, I'm telling you, they're really busy over there.
That's quite an interesting complex, and like Terry says,
Yeah.
if you've not been over there, stop by and see all the activity that's going on. Yep.
And it's really encouraging to see so much business coming into Oxford. I knew when Christian made that proposal that that was going to be a good thing for us. And did he ever get that tax break? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I don't want to open that can of worms again, but
let's just say he did. We can spread a rumor here,
let's
maybe.
hope he did. He's a
I
good
hope he
guy
did.
for this community. Christian Mills and
the owner.
that entire project. But anyhow, that's it for Oxford News this week. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, go to your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here at Charter Channel 191 and AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up next on OCTV, Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes, and catch Oxford School News with John Ochins, and don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kinney.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Watch one of the longest running programs on OCTV, Our Community Access, every day at 9:30 and 5:30. Hosted and produced by Bill Service. Our Community Access, keeping it local.
All today on Our Community Access.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, a small world leads the way. There's another tantalizing hint that an undiscovered ninth planet lurks in the outer reaches of the solar system. In January, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown of the California Institute of Technology inferred Planet 9's existence after studying 6 objects in the Kuiper Belt, the region of icy bodies that circle the sun beyond Neptune's orbit. All these objects' orbits take them slingshotting out to the most distant reaches of the solar system before swooping back in. What's odd is their eccentric orbits all point in roughly the same direction when they should be oriented randomly in space. Such an alignment suggests that some unseen planet 10 times as massive as Earth and 4 times its size is shepherding them. While the culprit still has not officially been discovered, Batigan and Brown argued that the chance that this was a random occurrence was as low as 0.007%. Although those seemed like pretty good odds, the team suspected the number could be much lower and that there were more Kuiper Belt objects with similar alignments out there. It was only a matter of time before they found another one, and 2 weeks ago, they did. It was spotted in an outer solar system survey and announced quietly on a single slide in a talk at the SETI Institute given by Michelle Bannister of the University of Victoria in Canada. The object is so new that it doesn't even have an official catalog name yet, but it's easy to see that its orbit is exactly like the other ushered Kuiper Belt objects. It's smack exactly where we predicted it should be, says Brown. And for Brown, that's a huge relief. He worried that he was seeing patterns in the skies that really weren't there. But the latest object strengthens his case for Planet 9. At least in my mind, it removes all doubts that the pattern that we're seeing is real, he says. Although he has yet to run in-depth statistics on his latest object, Brown argues that it's likely to reduce the odds of the alignment occurring by a chance to about 0.001%. Brown, whose discovery of the dwarf planet Eris earned him the nickname Pluto Killer, couldn't be more excited. It's fun to see the first one, he says. We're pretty sure it was going to be true, but you still keep your fingers crossed. Good for them. And for ancient history, lead often gets a bad press, but its discovery in ancient Greco-Roman ink could make it easier to read an early form of publishing, precious scrolls buried by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Some 800 scrolls, part of the classical world's best surviving library, have tantalized scholars since they were first discovered in a villa in the ancient Roman city of Herculaneum in 1752. About 200 are in such delicate state that they have never been read. Unrolling the charred scrolls could destroy them, so people have been using X-rays to document the bundles in the hopes of decoding the writing inside. But progress has been slow. It's difficult to detect the difference between the letters and the papyrus that they're written on. Now, physicist Vito Macella at the Italian Research Council and his colleagues have discovered lead in the ink of the 2 Herculaneum papyri fragments held in the Institute of France in Paris. The presence of lead means that imaging techniques could be recalibrated to pick up the metal, something X-rays excel at. This really opens up the possibility of being able to read the scrolls, says Graham Davis at Queen Mary University in London. If this is typical of this scroll or other scrolls, then that is very good news. Well, on our last story, cats can make us angry, scratching our furniture, waking us up, and giving us parasites that may cause explosive rage. Toxoplasma gondii is a parasite carried by cats that lives in the brains of as many as a third of all people worldwide. Now the parasite has been linked to a psychiatric condition involving disproportionate outbursts of aggression like road rage. Emil Coccaro at the University of Chicago and his colleagues compared 110 people with intermittent explosive disorder, IED, not that other one, with people who have no psychiatric diagnosis. They found that people with IED were more than twice as likely to test positive for exposure to T. gondii, and in both groups, those who tested positive tended to rank more highly in tests for aggression. Coccaro thinks the parasite may be altering neurotransmitters in the brain. However, the correlation doesn't necessarily mean that T. gondii is causing the explosive rage. Aggressive people may be less likely to wash their hands, making them more likely to catch the parasite, for example. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back after this.
Oxford Orion Fish helps provide emergency aid to the people of Oxford, Lake Orion, Addison, and Oakland Townships. One of the only self-serve food banks in the state, Oxford Orion Fish provides once-a-month food supplies based on the size of the family. To donate, volunteer, or to find out more, call Oxford Orion Fish at 248-628-3933 or go to their website, oxfordorionfish.org. Oxford Orion Fish, neighbors helping neighbors.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. Lots of school competitions to talk about as we head into spring break. Teacher Dan Balsley's Auto Tech crew had a busy week as they drove through their mini-mites. And Dan's annual brake contest was there as well. MITES stands for the Michigan Industrial and Technology Competition, and it comes up in May. To prepare for it, Balsley has his annual mini-mites contest to get the kids in shape.
I think the competition kind of ran itself because things were well organized, the students knew what they were doing, so the biggest part for me was the preparation.
So, was it a good prep for the Real Mites competition coming up?
Oh, I think so. The Real Mites is coming up May 13th in Lansing, and it has the same type of thing.
Senior Riley Feeney was the winner.
Who's going to help you carry all this stuff to the college?
No, I don't know. No one.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Is this the sort of thing you plan on picking up after high school?
Yeah, I plan on going into engineering or something similar.
The sponsors of the contest were the Oxford McDonald's, Steve's Oxford Automotive, and the White Tool Company. Next was the brake competition. Dan explains.
This is actually to inspire the students to perform brake jobs. When we're covering suspension or steering, the guys get the hang of that and they're used to that. But when we cover the brake units, they're difficult, they're complicated, they're dirty, and the guys would rather not do that. And yet we're doing a lot of brake jobs every day. So to inspire them to do the brake jobs and get good at it, I make it a competition. So they're timed in the complete disassembly and reassembly of the drum brake assembly, and they have to do that on 2 different vehicles. And we take their best times and give away prizes, and these guys get good at it. By the time this finishes up, I could throw a pile of brake parts on the floor, and they could grab them and assemble them in about 2 minutes.
The winning brake team included Dan Hopman and Cameron Marshall. Once again, the next contest is the Mites in May. Our robotics team Torque 2137 had another regional meet, this one in Marysville. I caught up with Zach Spencer to find out how they did.
We ended up ranking first in the competition, which meant we got to select, the first one to select our alliance. We ended up teaming up with one of our really good friends with Thunder Chickens, 217, and it went really well, and we were lucky enough to make it to finals, where unfortunately our shooter broke finals, so we were unable to shoot, which means we couldn't score as many points. We're also lucky enough to bring home the Chairman's Award, so that's really cool. Our Chairman's team did really well, so it's always good to bring home the Chairman's Award. So.
Now, do they give out a Chairman's Award in each competition? How does that work?
Yeah, so 40 teams go to Michigan districts. You compete for chairmans. Not every team competes for chairmans, but the teams that do, there's only one per district, so yeah, it's a pretty prestigious award.
You won another award too, didn't you? Wasn't there another one?
We won the safety award as well. Our safety team did a really good job advertising our process of keeping our students safe in our registration process for certification in our shop. So that went really well, and we were really proud to bring that one home too.
So what's next?
Well, next we have the Michigan State Championship. We're really excited for that. That's in the Deltaplex in Grand Rapids 2 weeks from now.
A few of our local Vietnam veterans paid Oxford High a visit this week in honor of Vietnam Veterans Day. Jim Hubbard was one of them. He tells us more.
Well, we've been asked over several years, probably over the last 5 years, several different schools. Adams High School has had us come and talk, Clarkson High School. Lake Orion usually sends them out to the post, but here in Oxford, the last 2 years they've asked us to come, or I think might be 3 years now, come and when they're studying Vietnam, we come and give a little bit of what we have experienced. I'm the first part of the war. I was there in 66 and 67, so I can tell them about my experience about the 66 and 67. Chuck here, he was in the 70s, 70, 71, 2 or something, so he can tell you a little bit more about the end of the war.
There were several crews of Vietnam servicemen stationed around the Performing Arts Center where small groups of kids gathered and asked them questions about their experiences, all in connection with the kids' current classes. Thanks for stopping by, men. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
And back with you in Oxford News this week, and time for Oxford Sports. Yes, we are in that in-between time when winter sports ended. Congratulations to all the basketball players. And we're waiting for the spring sports to start, which will include softball, baseball, golf, all that spring stuff. But hey, already underway, the lacrosse team, the Troy Athens boys lacrosse team, got a little bit of everything in the 2016 opener when they were on the road against their foe, our own OAA school, Oxford Wildcats. The Redhawks were in a battle from the start to finish. Despite being a young team, Athens stayed composed, found a way to pull out a victory, 4-3 victory to be exact. Oxford is back in action again Tuesday. They take on Grosse Pointe North. That is a rescheduled game due to weather. The Wildcats are coming off a 12-win season back in 2015, but a lot of the group has been moved on. A lot of the seniors have moved on, so it could be a very difficult year. We'll keep you on top of that. Again, Oxford lacrosse here on OCTV Sports. And always a congratulatory salute out to anyone who signs for college intent. Our congratulations this week go to David Rodriguez. He signed a letter of intent to continue his athletic career in cross country and in track and field. He'll be doing that at Madonna University. Congratulations. Picture of him signing right here. Everybody here at OCTV, we salute you on your endeavors. A little bit of a tough week in junior varsity lacrosse, ladies junior varsity lacrosse, as they took on the Royal Oak High School. They knotted that one a tie at 8-8. However, they fell to crosstown rivals Lake Orion. Ooh, the score there, a painful 16-3. Then they went to Grosse Pointe North High School, and guess who took charge of that one? Grosse Pointe. The score there, 9-1. So I guess we savor the tie, and hopefully for better things for the junior varsity ladies lacrosse team. We'll have all the spring sports coming ahead. We urge you to stay tuned, and we'll make sure to keep on top of that. If you want to keep on top of the schedules and, of course, news stories about your local Oxford athlete, we did that today ourselves. Go to oxfordathletics.org. Again, that's one word, oxfordathletics.org right here, and you can scroll and find out where your athletes are going to be. They even have a little bit news stories there as well. While you're on the website, check our website out. It's always there at your fingertips, OCCTV.org. You can hit the YouTube tab or the program tab, or we have all your programs there at your fingertip. You can catch it on your computer, iPad, phone, wherever you choose to watch. I urge you to watch on weekends. We do run our sporting broadcasts when we have sports between the hours of 1 and 6. I think it's going to be changed over the next few weeks till we get some sports in the bank. Again, our website, OCCTV.org. Go Spring, and congratulations to the letter of intent. We wish you luck at your Madonna college career. We'll see you next week on Oxford Sports. It's Oxford News This Week. We'll be right back. Take care.
Don't miss what's going on in your local government meetings. Watch Elgin Nichols and Dave Kenny on Minutes by Minute. Airs Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 11:30 p.m., where they add a touch of humor to local politics.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, headlights on a third of U.S. midsize car models do a poor job, and only one, the Toyota's Prius 5, performed well enough with an optional upgrade to earn a good rating from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety in results released March 30th. While they currently meet U.S. government standards, better headlights could reduce U.S. accident deaths and improve safety, the Arlington, Virginia-based group said. In its first ratings of vehicle headlights, the insurance group tested midsize cars to see how well they illuminate the road and whether they create excessive glare for oncoming vehicles. The group's ratings carry weight with consumers, so automakers work to win high marks in its tests. Government rules allow for significant variation in the amount of illumination that headlights provide in actual on-road driving, the Institute said. Of 31 midsize models it tested, 11 earned an acceptable rating, 9 were rated marginal, and 10 were poor. The Prius 5 was rated good when equipped with optional LED headlights and a feature that turns off high beams when there is an oncoming car. Vehicles getting acceptable ratings include the Audi A3, Honda Accord, and Nissan Maxima. Vehicles with poor ratings include the Kia Optima, Chevrolet Malibu, and Volkswagen Passat. Many luxury vehicles have poor rated headlights, and many cars only get higher ratings with optional packages. For example, the base Prius 5, which uses halogen lights, gets a poor rating. Some headlights are inadequate because they're not aimed properly at the factory. Many headlight problems could be fixed with better aim, says the Institute engineer Matthew Brumbelow. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in a statement that its revised new car assessment program will give incentives for automakers to improve headlight performance. A 2007 NHTSA report found that 49% of passenger traffic deaths occur at night, while only 25% of driving occurs at night. It's not clear how much the fatality rate is related to lighting versus driver behavior at night, like speeding or intoxication. And at Tesla Motors Incorporated is preparing to take the case for its direct sales model to federal court should it prove necessary, according to a report. The California electric car manufacturer hopes a combination of state legislation and approved dealer applications will allow the automaker to open up shop in the 6 states where it's barred. However, the automaker is preparing to argue its case in court should these options fail, according to the Wall Street Journal. The automaker is reading up on a 2013 federal ruling that found monk-made coffins could be sold directly to customers without a funeral director's license, the Journal reported. The case was brought on by a casket shortage in New Orleans in the wake of a Hurricane Katrina. Tesla, which is aiming to capture a broader market with its upcoming Model 3 electric car, is banned from selling directly to consumers in Arizona, Connecticut, Michigan, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. Those states combine to account for about 18% of the U.S. new vehicle market. For years, Tesla has been fighting to open those 6 markets and keep open the ones it is licensed in. For instance, Tesla last year applied for a dealership license in Michigan and fought off legislation that would have essentially kicked it out of Indiana. The automaker was also successful last year in getting Georgia, Maryland, and New Jersey to allow direct sales, although it was denied in Texas. Opening up shop in markets where it is banned is likely important to Tesla's goal of boosting annual sales to 500,000 vehicles by 2020. Tesla is targeting a more mainstream audience with the $35,000 Model 3 compared with its $100,000 luxury cars. And on the recall front, General Motors is recalling 6,280 police cars for a power steering defect. The recall affects 2014 to 2016 model year Chevrolet Caprice police pursuit cars, according to documents filed with the U.S. National Highway Traffic Administration. GM said electric power steering assist can be lost due to potential corrosion of a torque sensor connector. That can lead to the driver having to put more effort in while manually steering, increasing the risk of an accident. GM launched the investigation into the problem in November, or that is to say September, after the LaGrange, Illinois Police Department reported a loss of power steering to the automaker. The investigation found that corrosion can be the result of the police vehicle's heavy usage. No accidents or injuries have been reported, GM said, and dealerships will replace the steering wheel assembly at no charge. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Your local business.
Your police department.
Your local business.
Your village of Oxford.
The schools. Your parks and recreation.
Your community. Your community.
Only on OCTV.